Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Saints TV Weekly, proudly caffeinated by the wonderful people at Inglewood Coffee Roasters. I've got the new Ethiopia blend today. It's got blueberry cheesecake, dried peach, purple grapes, and raisin. It's delicious. I've already tried it. I highly recommend that you go on over to inglewoodcoffeeroasters.com.au and use the discount code SAINTS30 and you'll get 30% off this as well as 30% off the rest of the delicious coffee range. So get on over there, support a local business in Victoria and enjoy some delicious coffee as well as watching the rest of this episode of Saints TV Weekly. Hey guys, welcome to Saints TV Weekly. Another week, another Saints TV Weekly. Trade period finished last Wednesday. And yeah, mixed feelings from everyone at the club. All the fans, some people understand we didn't have a lot to work with in terms of picks and in terms of collateral, getting players in and out. But it closed on Wednesday, 7:30. No change to last week and what we talked about. So we'll quickly summarise where we're at the moment for everyone watching at home. No moves on deadline day. Picks 9, 62, 66, 67 and 85. That's where we are left. We can still move picks even on trade night as the picks come out. So it's kind of a very fluid structure, which is great. That puts us in a good position to see where other clubs fall on trade night, on draft night, and be able to make changes to those picks. And hopefully that means that we can get our next generation academy boys and get the best available with pick 9. And if not, we can always trade pick 9 and try and move, a couple of picks into the first round, maybe with the Brisbane, which I flagged about 1,000,000 times before. But at this stage, we're at pick 9, 62, 66, 67, and 85 with no players coming in so far. But obviously the delisted free agency will open up, I think, at the start of November or mid-November. And we've got a few players there that we're interested in. The other big news from the week is Jack Lonie. Unfortunately, after, I think, 87 games at St Kilda, his time has come to an end. He was delisted, I think, last Friday, I'd like to think. And yeah, 87 games, 73 goals, I believe, and just didn't get much of a go at it in 2021, and that was, mainly to do with his own form. He didn't really take his chances, and, similar with Luke Dunstan, he showed some glimpses of being a really good player, but then at the same time showed, a lot of glimpses of just disappointing football and inconsistency. And I guess where we want to go as a club is to win premierships and to be successful and to sustain that level of success and intensity. And I guess, the tough conversations with Lonie and Dunstan happened and they just didn't fit into where we want to go. And I guess when you look at, Butler coming in, Higgins coming in, maybe a Naish or someone like that, another small, Gresham returning, Dean Kent probably getting another year. We've just got too many players ahead of him at this point to keep him. And that definitely would have been mentioned in the conversation. And he's probably 4th in line now at the club, or 5th in line even. So, hopefully he gets picked up. And at Saints TV, we wish him all the best for the future. Now, in terms of other delistings from other clubs, this is where it gets interesting because I feel like there's a few players here that we could be very interested in and we probably will be talking to in the next couple of weeks leading up to the delisted free agency. They're free. They don't cost anything. We don't need to trade draft picks. So this is, I think, where we were waiting for this to happen, to see what clubs delist which players. And so far, we've seen that Collingwood have delisted someone like Sire, who I think is 23, played in a grand final, was very good a couple of years ago when they were a top team. He's a big inside mid. He's tall. He can go forward and kick goals. He's a bit explosive compared to some of the other inside mids that are going around in the comp. So he's one that we could look at. We've lost Dunstan. Is it worth getting a Sire for nothing? Who knows? The other one that I think we should definitely be talking to is Constable from Geelong. He was remarkably delisted. Bit surprising there. There's been, we've been rumoured to be linked to him for the last couple of years at least. And it would surprise me a lot if we don't have a conversation with him, considering he's going to cost us nothing. And we've had interest in him, trading for him before. So at the very least, I think we'll chat to him. There's going to be a lot of clubs looking at him. He's still young. He's got a big upside. He's had some big performances at AFL level already. He's tall, can go forward, and he's silky. He's got a very high kicking disposal efficiency, and that's something I think we want more of in the club. So if we get him, it's probably going to be off the back of the fact that he can use the footy. He's young. He's got potential. And again, like I've said, he will cost us absolutely nothing. And I think that's, low risk, high reward type scenario with someone like him. The other one is from Hawthorn, Oliver Hanrahan. I think there's going to be a lot of clubs looking at him as well. He's had some decent performances and he was let go, and some Hawthorn people were very surprised by that. But he's another player we're looking at. And on top of that, we've got players like Naish from Richmond, who's delisted, Gibbons from Carlton. So we've lost Lonie. Is someone like a Gibbons going to come in? And he had some pretty good games as a Carlton small forward. Pretty high numbers, some decent goals, and he gets his hands on the footy. So he's another kind of low risk, high reward type player. And then you've got Schlensog, the delisted defender from Geelong. He's another one that I think if we can get him, maybe someone like a Gibbons or a Naish, and then one of Sire, Constable, or Hanrahan as that mid, I think will be okay. You get a mid to small forward rotation type player, and then you get a key back that can support Dougal Howard. And really just top up our stocks in defence, because we're not really tall there. He's really the only tall defender we've got, and that's well publicised. But if we can get someone like Schlensog in, I think that'd be a big help. But on top of that, James Gallagher was on SCN, I think early last week or mid last week or whenever. We know it was last week. And he mentioned that Josh Battle... It's kind of been the club's fault that Josh hasn't really found his own position, and they've kind of trialled him on the wing, forward for patches, and then he was in defence a couple of years ago, and that's where we all thought he excelled. That's when Jake Carlisle was injured, and it offered him a good opportunity to show what he can do at centre half back. He excelled, and this was 3 years ago when he was young and new to the competition and still pretty light frame. Now, James Gallagher's come out and said that in the off-season, in the pre-season, his position will be in defence as a key defender, probably centre half back, and I absolutely love that. That shows the club's not really, desperate to find someone in the free agency or in the delisted free agency, someone like a Schlensog, but maybe we're looking internally and seeing what we can do there. And if Battle can go back and play a role like he did a couple of years ago, and he can be that centre half back, he's 6'4", he's 193 centimetres, he's nearly 100 kilos, He's still putting on weight. He's getting stronger. He's already in the gym. He's Instagrammed that his preseason's going to be big. If we can get him into tip-top shape and be that centre-half back that can support Dougal Howard in defence, and that leaves Caulfield, Heim or Wilkie to take a third or fourth forward and really run off them and create that rebound we so desperately need with our game plan, I think that's amazing. So I really like that call. James Gallagher came out, and that was on SEN, I believe, last week. And yeah, really exciting to see what Josh Battle can do in the off-season as a key back. This new coffee, I'll tell you guys, I mentioned it in the intro, but seriously, this, you got to get it. It's so good. You can actually taste the cheesecake. Anyone that has a bit of a sweet tooth, and I don't really, but this works for me. If you've got a sweet tooth, you're going to love this. So get your hands on it. Saints30, discount code, you'll enjoy it. Now, for a different part of Saints TV Weekly, I realised that because the Saints TV podcast is, it's taking a bit of a break at the moment, giving Joyce and Marshy a bit of time to rest their vocal cords because they're quite delicate. There's no Jake's Junk Mail, so why not incorporate, Jakey's mailbag or Jake's Junk Mail, if you want to label it that, into Saints TV Weekly. So I've had some Sainers send in some questions, and we're going to go through them right now and see what I can offer back in terms of answers. So this one's from Fred. He is asking, do you reckon that everyone is overreacting about us having a bad season? I think some people are overreacting, not because, not overreacting about the season. I think it's overreacting about what that season means for the future. So some people can be like, okay, well, we had a bad year, but we still won 10 games. We're only a win and percentage outside the 8. We beat some top teams. We also lost to some shit teams. And we had injuries basically for the entire season and didn't get our best 22 on the park. That to me is how I feel about the year. That's not an overreaction. An overreaction is this. We had a bad season, we had some injuries, but we've got no A-grade talent, we've got no youth coming through, and honestly, I can't see us finishing in the top 8 for the next 6 years. Brett Wright needs to go. We need to trade in some players. We need to trade Jade Gresham for pick 5, and we need to get youngsters in because that's the future. That, to me, is an overreaction. There's been a lot of comments online like that, and people need to calm down and understand the club is in a good financial position, I believe, in terms of paying for players. All the players took a pay cut last year with West Coast, and I think that's going to help us in the future, unlike a lot of clubs who didn't do it, and not as much as we did, and they're going to have some salary cap problems moving forward. So I think our salary cap in the next couple of years is going to be very strong. And we've got some youth coming through. There's a lot to look forward to. I think you can get distracted in not making finals and being jealous of Melbourne. But at the end of the day, Melbourne this time last year were in the position we were in right now. People didn't know what they were going to do at the trade period. They got Ben Brown. Some people thought that was a terrible decision. Turns out it was a masterstroke. There's players like that you can get. And Ben Brown was basically kicked out of the team that won the wooden spoon. So, we could pick up a Gibbons and he could turn out to be a decent player when he was, thrown out of Carlton. So I think it's important to have perspective and not let your emotions take hold of the situation. This one's from Cooper. Are you concerned how quiet our trade period was and that hardly anyone wanted to join? This is easy. Am I concerned? No. We had minimal draft picks. We're looking forward to Ben King in 12 months' time. And we've got 2 very good academy players that we can get, as well as a player that's going to be very good at pick 9, pick 10 and 11 whenever that shifts. And then on top of delisted free agents that are going to be young and wanting to prove a point, I think that we could still find ourselves being pretty busy in this trade period. And am I concerned that hardly anyone wanted to join? From my reports internally with my sources, a lot of players wanted to join. We just could not get it done because we didn't have collateral. We didn't have picks to do it. We didn't have players that generated enough interest to get picks. We kind of, offered Seb Ross around. No one wanted him. He re-signed. Jack Billings, no one really wanted him. He re-signed. Dunstan left for nothing. So we didn't really have a lot to use, and players aren't going to nominate St Kilda when they know they can't get the job done. Sherry did it, and we could have got that done, but North were being dicks about it and wanting a second-round draft pick, and that wasn't going to work out for us. So am I concerned on both counts? Absolutely not. I think we did the best that we could, and we still could do a lot of good things in the remainder of this draft period and trade period. Josh is asking, where do you think the club's at? I think the club's at a learning stage, ready to prepare to be a serious team. I think 2020, we surprised each other. Our teammates surprised each other. They didn't think we could make finals, and then they did. And then they got ahead of themselves. So there was excitement from 2020, exceeding expectations. 2021, drinking our own bathwater because we expected expectation and didn't meet them. And now we know in 2022 we need to work and work and work. And we really drive our own success. So it's all on the players to really become as good as they want to be and as good as the team can be. So I think that 2020 was, surprise. 2021 was learning. 2022 is the real deal. That's how I see it. So fingers crossed the boys can hit the track and have a big preseason and bring us all some much needed excitement and happiness in 2022. This is from Taryn. Your opinion on flag chances and future outlook, seeing that we have minimal picks in 2021. Similar question to the others. I think our flag chances are as good as any. It's as good as last year. It's as good as 2020, honestly, if not better, if we can get our best 22 on the park. It's all about injuries. Last year, we just didn't have the players to put down a sustained challenge for the flag. And if we had our best 22 at all last year, we would have made the 8 easily. So this preseason, we need to get players fit. We've got a new fitness coach. We've got a lot of new players that'll be coming in through the draft and hopefully the delisted free agency. And we just need those players that we know are very good, like Gresham, Marshall, Ben Patton will be back. These sort of guys. Zach Jones, getting more games out of him. Paddy Ryder, fingers crossed, getting games out of these guys. 15 to 20 games next year, and that will show a big difference. Because if we had have had Rowan Marshall and Paddy for the entirety of 2021, we probably would have won another 2 or 3 games. Who knows? Our percentage with them in the team versus without, in terms of win-loss, is, night and day. So we'd probably make finals if Gresham plays an entire year. We'd probably make finals if Rowe and Paddy play an entire year in the ruck together. So that's how big these players are for us. And some supporter bases don't see that. They all say, every club has injuries, but really, no club had bigger injuries than us, and we had the most difficult draw. So I'm not using them as excuses, but they kind of are at the same time. They really are. Tom's asking, are you going to start a new AFL Evolution career mode? Potentially, still tossing up whether I want to do that or not. I think I deleted the game on my PlayStation, so I might not actually download it again and have a look. But yeah, that's definitely something I've been thinking about. That and, many other crazy ideas for the YouTube channel. And lastly, Adam is asking, with not much changes made to our lineup, do you think we are likely to finish top 8 next year? Simple answer to end the video, yes. I've tipped that we could finish anywhere. Melbourne went from bottom 8 to first and a flag. There's no reason why we can't push for top 4 with a fit team and with a serious mentality of belief, of knowing that we can be a top team. Because not only is it getting the players on the park, but making sure that all the players on the park have that one mindset that we can be the best team. We can beat the best teams and become the best team. That's what we need to believe. St Kilda players, for many years are just negative. We just don't. The same with the supporter base. We just expect something bad to happen when something good happens. Now we just need to go into the year and believe that we can be a good team. Melbourne supporters now, after a flag, their mindsets have completely changed. They're expecting a dynasty. A year ago, they weren't expecting to make the 8 ever. They were worse than Saints fans. Now, hopefully they don't turn into Richmond fans and get really arrogant, but they've got full belief in their system, in their coaches, in their players, and I'm a bit jealous of that, but that's where we need to go. So, I think we can make the top 8, and that's a big step forward, and that's really with our full 22. If we can get them on the park, natural improvement from Hunter Clark, Max King, Bytel, Burns, Connolly, Highmore, and Josh Battle taking that key post in defence and excelling. That sort of stuff. Butler finding his form again. Higgins continuing on from last year. There's a lot to like with this club and a lot of growth that not only we can get from getting players in the draft, but also I think the primary focus is getting growth from within the players we've already got. I think that's the most exciting thing, that out of all the clubs, I think we can grow the most with what we already have. And that's why I think we've not been very active this trade period. Whereas, Carlton are getting players in and everyone thinks they're going to make finals. That's not necessarily the case. They might need time to gel. Whereas we've got those players that have played together already and understand each other's strengths and weaknesses. And hopefully we can use that to our advantage. So that's Saints TV Weekly, guys. Those are all the questions I'll answer. Thanks to all the Sainers for sending them in. And thanks to all of you for watching this video. Again, sponsored by Inglewood. So make sure you go over to their website. Saints30 is the discount. Get 30% off. It's delicious coffee. And I'll be back hopefully later in the week for another video. I posted a video on the weekend doing some Saints trivia with my girlfriend Jess. And that's been really well received, so thanks to everyone for watching. If you haven't watched it, head on over there and have a bit of a laugh. It's quite humorous. And yeah, if you're watching and you haven't subscribed to Saints TV, it'd be absolutely amazing if you hit the subscribe button and join the Saints TV community because, it's growing by the day and I absolutely love making videos for you guys. So if you guys enjoy it, make sure you hit the subscribe button and you'll be notified on all future videos. But until then, guys, have a great rest of your week. And I'll see you next week on another Saints TV Weekly. Go Sainers!